Hi YouTube.
Hello YouTube friends and family. Today I'm going to talk to you about bespoke suiting, custom suiting, and just off the rack suiting. There are certain things that you can tell about different suits depending on how they look and the types of buttons that they have. Will tell you a lot about how a suit has been made. The price of bespoke suits and some made-to-measure suits have come down so much that their prices are comparable to some of the suits that you would just get off the rack. And I would say that if you can, and if you wear suits a lot, I wear suits a fair bit. If you wear suits a lot, you will find that getting a made-to-measure suit or a bespoke suit is going to probably be better for you in the long run because you'll end up spending less over many years than if you bought like a very inexpensive off the rack suit that doesn't really fit well and that may not last you as long. I'm going to just show you a few things if you're looking for kind of the tells that show you if a suit has been either made to measure or bespoke. I'm going to show you some examples of buttons, and I'm going to show you different examples of stitching and maybe some linings on the inside of your suits. So with that, let's get at it.
Stupid buttons, tricksy, flimsy, not really put on, they don't stay on straight. So see, they look like they're not real buttons and they're not functional. Functional buttonholes, see, the jacket actually buttons look more, they're just nicer. So that's the difference.
The first thing I'm going to show you is with this suit, you'll find that this is a bespoke suit. It's a cashmere wool blend, and you'll show that I have distressed buttons. But one thing you'll notice is that my buttonholes are functional. These are functional buttonholes, and in the earlier video you saw the difference between, I called them crappy buttons and functional buttons, but basically fully functional buttons mean that the buttonholes actually work, and this is contrast stitching. When you see a person's suit and you notice that they have contrast stitching, and you can have contrast stitching, like I could have gotten all of these buttonholes contrast stitched, but I had to see if I liked it and I wasn't sure. All these buttonholes would be the same color. With the distressed buttons, they're slightly different than the normal buttons. They're a little bit higher quality than normal buttons, and you can tell. But this sleeve actually, if you unbutton this will come. The sleeve will come all the way out. So all of these buttons actually open up, and this was in olden days so that people could roll up the sleeves of their jackets, because people didn't take their jackets off when they were doing sometimes manual labor, and they'd roll up the sleeves of their jackets without ruining their jacket sleeve. So this is a fully, as I said, fully functional button sleeve that has contrast stitching. And this, like I said, this suit is a cashmere wool blend. And as you can see, I have a custom lining in here. This is from when I had this suit made. I actually had a custom lining put in, which is a kind of a normal thing that people do when they get custom suits. The other thing when you get custom suits is they tend to put your initials on the inside. And this suit was made in Portugal, so it took me about 6 weeks to get this suit. The next suit I'm going to show you is a suit that is again made to measure, but it doesn't have contrast stitching. So let me show you that. So this second suit that I'm showing you is just a typical wool dress suit, and I like it. And again, when you have made to measure or bespoke suits, you can actually choose the collar type you want, the notching you want, how your pockets will go. If you want straight pockets, as you can see, these pockets are slightly tilted. With your jackets, you can have, I'm sorry for the kind of the moving around a lot just because I'm trying to do this with one hand. You can have a single pocket, or you can have a ticket pocket, which is a second pocket. And then if you look at the lining, this has just kind of a half lining. I don't want a full lining in it. It's got half lining with contrast, so they contrast the pockets. So if you see the pockets on the inside are contrast. I did not get contrast stitching on the piping of the jacket, and the piping is the stitching that you see along the edge. You probably never notice it, but you can actually have this contrast stitched as well. If you look at the buttons that I have in this jacket, again, because it's a custom suit, it has functional buttonholes. I'm sorry that this thing is blurring out. I'm trying to do this with my phone instead of my GoPro, and it's just giving me problems today. But if you see it, you see how functional buttonholes. These open all the way up. Every buttonhole is reinforced stitched, and again, distressed buttons that show that this is a custom suit. My initials on the inside, and it took about 6 weeks to get this suit. The last suit that I'm going to show you is an off-the-rack tuxedo that I got, and I just needed that really quickly, but I'll show you the difference in how the buttons and the construction of the jacket show up. The last suit I'm going to show you is a Calvin Klein off-the-rack tuxedo. As you can see, it's a tuxedo jacket, which you'll notice right away. If I was going to put it on, you'd notice that the fit wasn't as body fitting as your bespoke or your made to measure suits, because they don't take your individual body measurements. They get as close as they can. As you can see, it does not have functional buttonholes. These buttons are actually just made onto the jacket. And the thing I don't like about these type of buttons is you can see how the buttons just kind of move any which way. Some of the suits will have better buttons in the sense that they'll just be more flat, but that just means that they're stitched and they're tighter. But it's not functional and it's not made to measure. It's a standard Calvin Klein suit, tuxedo suit, which is nice. Like I said, you can pay a lot for off the rack things, but when you look at some of the expensive off the rack things, you can get custom suiting for around the same price. So I mean, this is just a quick and dirty tutorial about the differences in some of the bespoke, made to measure, and off the rack suits that you can find, and how you can tell the difference just kind of quickly when you're eyeing them. Again, this tuxedo off the rack, the first suit I showed you was a cashmere wool blend, which is really nice. I love that suit. It feels just kind of like butter on your skin. And then the blue one that I showed you was a wool, just kind of your traditional day-to-day suit, but also with a functional buttonhole. Thank you again for watching this video. Again, I'd like to see your comments below. Let me know what you think about different types of suiting. I know that custom suits, bespoke suits aren't for everyone, but if you wear suits a lot and if you are required to wear suits in your daily job and you can afford it, again, I'm not saying that everyone can afford it right off the bat. When I first started working, it was definitely a challenge to buy suits that weren't off the rack. But once you can afford it, I would say it's a good investment for the future. The suits will last you longer. The fit will be much better, and you will find that you will enjoy wearing suits when your suits fit like a glove. With that, GB out.
Subscribe right below.